Detached observer. The self, also called the soul, possesses an inherent capacity to notice what's happening but not be affected. This is the capacity to act as a detached observer. The mind becomes a witness and just notices what's going on without judging or reacting. We are not merely repressing feelings or thoughts, but we are observing them while being totally calm. This skill can be cultivated with a simple, repetitive practice. In this meditation, we will not only learn to regain this capacity, but also how to naturally retain it, so that we remain fixed in that free consciousness. To truly experience freedom from limiting beliefs and access inner power, we need this capacity to act as detached observers. To observe clearly, we need to first detach ourselves and then create a still space in our mind. We will first become witnesses to our thoughts, then of ourselves, and finally of the dramas around us. Breathe in and out while noticing how the body is taking in the breath and releasing the breath. Just breathe in and out and simply sense the sensation of your breath as it moves in and out. For the next few moments, sense the breath moving through you, and if your thoughts wander and go in different directions, simply come back to just observing your breath. Just keep witnessing the way it feels as it moves through your body. Now gently but firmly, let go of any stresses you have. Let go of your roles, your to-do lists, and keep noticing the sensation of the breath as it moves in and out, in and out, for the next few moments. Gently take a moment now and become an observer of where you are sitting, the city, the room, your immediate surroundings. Observe yourself sitting there for a few moments. Again, turn your attention to your breath. Simply observe your breath going in and out, in and out, in and out. You feel totally relaxed and calm. In this state of relaxation, your awareness begins to rise up, higher and higher, away from the world, way up into the sky. You arrive in a beautiful patch of light. It feels like a soft cloud of light. You are beginning to feel so light and comfortable. Now ask yourself the question, what am I thinking? Just be a witness to what comes to your mind. Don't judge. Just keep observing your thoughts. Now ask yourself the question, if I had a choice, what would I be thinking instead of what I am thinking now? Keep observing your thoughts, your feelings in response to this question. Witness any visuals that come to your mind. Just keep watching your mind as you would watch cars go by. Keep watching the traffic in your mind without judgment. As you keep witnessing your thoughts, your emotions, you feel even lighter. And again, you begin to ascend and you go even higher. You arrive in a beautiful misty region of white light. You feel totally light here. Allow yourself, the soul, to become light as a feather. And your silence increases. You are now in an ocean of light that feels cool and welcoming. You feel at home here. It feels like your personal haven. You are in a sanctuary of silence. Now, ask yourself this question, who am I? Who am I? And again, observe. Observation is like deep listening. Observe your thoughts. Observe your feelings. Are any visuals coming up? Now again, go back to the question, who am I really? Notice your response to that. Now, look down on your life below on earth and observe your life. Observe the people in your life. Your work. Your relationships. Just watch as if you're watching a movie. Ask yourself this question: what is meaningful in my life? Witness the thoughts and feelings that come up in response to that question. What is meaningful in my life? What are the visuals coming up? Keep repeating this exercise. First, observe your breath, then your thoughts, then your life. If your mind wanders any time in the next few minutes, then come back to observing your breath and slowly progress to observing your thoughts. Gently glide back toward the room you're sitting in, coming back into the world of sights and sounds. You really understand the quote, "You're not a human being in search of a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being immersed in a human experience." When we let go and become a witness from a place of peace, we gain invaluable insights. Witness yourself as a soul in a physical body, playing a part on the world stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Silicon Valley BRAHMAKUMARIS, shifting from stressful parenting to peaceful parenting. I'm Meghna, your facilitator for this course. Let's get started with meditation. I'll go ahead and share my screen. It's time precious time to be with the most precious being, I, the soul. So let's withdraw from everything external. Let go of home, people, past, and work. And let's be with ourselves. In the journey of life, I have put in a lot of effort, time, and energy in taking care of the body, bodily relations, work, everything but me. Because I thought I was a body, a physical matter. I only thought of myself as a mother. So my primary focus became children. I thought of myself as a daughter. So my focus became my parents. But who am I that is changing roles? Who am I? Am I taking care of myself by taking care of the roles I am playing? In any drama or a movie, the roles go through a lot of storms. There's happiness, sadness, violence, then happiness and drama goes on. And that is why life started feeling burdensome, because these roles changed constantly. I could not defend my identity of being a decent mother, daughter, wife, religion, nationality. Everything kept changing and perishing. And I, the being, likes stability. Stability of peace, love, and happiness. There is no stability outside. There is no stability in relations, because people are emotionally disturbed. There is no stability in body, because its form, shape, and health keeps changing. There's no stability at work. The stability is within me. I am the master of my mind, and I can educate my mind to create stable, peaceful, and kind thoughts. When I don't parent my mind, it creates the disturbance that it sees outside within. The storm is outside, but I feel it fully within. The storm of anger, fear, stress. I don't need to consume the storm that is going outside. I can protect myself by a strong aura of positive thoughts. Because I am a benevolent, kind, and humble being. Stability is my birthright. Every being in this webinar is filled with stability and divinity. Every being in our city is filled with stability and divinity. Every being in our world is filled with stability and divinity. Thank you, my dear sweetest God, for making me divine and giving me a beautiful life. Welcome everyone once again to Silicon Valley BRAHMAKUMARIS. So let me just go ahead and allow you all to talk. So we'll start off with a quick revision from last class where we started kind of exploring some options to basically increase our denominator, right? Because we defined stress as really the forces of life, right? Force by surface area is the stress. So we said surface area is nothing but my capacity to handle the force. And the forces could be anything, right? It could be work, it could be situations related to people, body, and so on. So our thing last class we talked about was what can we do to basically increase our denominator, right? We want to increase our denominator and reduce our numerator. So then stress will automatically become negligible. And as I make my self-confidence, my inner powers, my inner being strong, as I start relying only on my inner strengths to keep myself going, then automatically what happens is we become so strong. Our confidence is unshakable. Then any kind of force of the situations, people, work will not shake us, right? So that is the main idea. I would say the biggest thing to work on really is not the numerator. We should certainly try, right? In the beginning, when we are in the journey of reducing our stress, we should certainly try to work on both, decrease the numerator and increase our confidence. But increasing the confidence, every day you will see a difference as you practice meditation and everything, but it does take some time. So we should do work on both. So we started talking about some points. Whoever would like to share one of the things that is really would be helpful to focus on to increase our denominator. We started talking about that, and then we went over one example. Anybody would like to share, please? So we were talking about the prioritization, right? Do you remember what prioritization we were talking about and what was the order? Maybe if you
Was self, family, work.
yes, yes. We were talking about
Self, family, and
your voice is really chopping off. I couldn't make out who was really talking here. But yes, we did talk about work, family, and self, right? Between three, how would we prioritize? Because this is a very subtle thing. We do need to maintain a balance. It's like literally at the same moment you're doing all three things. It's not like, because we talked about how self is the highest priority, first priority to the self, then comes relationship, then comes work. This does not mean that I keep neglecting my work. I don't do things at home, or I don't do things at work. It's not the way like that. It's just very subtle shift. And sometimes it's quite possible that I might not be able to attend to the work, especially if I have younger ones, right? Because with them, using reasoning and rational might not be very helpful. And that's when we start using our loud emotions many times, which is again, you have not prioritized yourself. When you're using loud emotions like stress or anger or frustration, then first of all, you yourself have not prioritized, right? Prioritizing the self basically means keeping the self emotionally healthy. So prioritizing the self is not just going to spas or vacations or shopping or watching TV. I feel that doesn't really take care of the emotional well-being. It's just a distraction. In fact, TV will cause even more distraction, doesn't take care of the emotion that might be boiling inside. And taking care of relationship is again not, just cooking for them and taking them, driving them around to classes, waking them up, driving them to school. No, that is not taking care of the relationship. That is bare minimum responsibility, I feel, that as a parent we do, right? That is kind of like a given. But really giving to our kids, our family, means emotional support. Really, that emotional support, even when they are going through a crisis, even when they are not behaving well, how can I still give them that sense of security that, hey, you can do here anything, you are still under the protection of your strong family. So they feel very secured. Then the third thing is, when I'm prioritizing my work, it's not just a check mark that I'm putting on, oh my gosh, just get this food for the family done. I am stressed. I don't even like cooking for my family, but with stress, without love for the family, I cook something, I do something. That is really not prioritizing work at all. Prioritizing work means really enjoying it and finishing it with a lot of quality. Otherwise, every time we do a shabby job at work, it automatically brings our confidence down, our self-respect down. It's it is such a subtle registration, and many times we do things with so much of burden. So highly encourage all of you to think, if there are any chores in the house or at work which you're doing like a burden, then we should sit with ourselves and ask ourselves questions. Why? Do we need help? Can this be distributed? But if I have to do it, I have to do it with a lot of fun. Because if I get disturbed here, then this is gone, right? The taking care of the self is automatically gone. So this balance is very, very crucial. But if I have this priority order clear, highly recommend everyone to, in the morning, create a strong thought that no matter what happens, I will continue to give my emotional health a priority. So throughout the day, every 1 hour, every 2 hours, I do at least every 2 hours. Generally, it is every hour, but every 2 hours, I have an alarm on my phone. It's time, me time. And generally it is 2-3 minutes, but I will take at least 1 10 minute or 2 10 minutes in between, those 2 hour break. I will make at least one or two of them to be 10-minute break, completely detached from whatever I'm doing, and literally sit with myself to do a quick check. Am I doing all right? Did the work or relationship disturb my emotional health? And then I will practice some meditation, revise a thought, put some commentary, whatever I feel like. But I will give myself a priority. I can understand some of you with young ones that might be a struggle. So just try, even, at Brahmakumaris, we are told even 1 second, 1 second of quick check. Are you okay, mind? You're a peaceful being. You're a love filled being. I love you. I love myself. Just that 1 second is a huge boost to prioritizing the self. When I keep loving myself and charging myself, that charge automatically downloads on these two things. I don't really have to do too much. This is my experience that just by giving myself priority, this too, automatically I start prioritizing. In this last few years, everything I do, I have noticed how much I enjoy and do it with love. And the moment I feel like it's a burden, I sit with myself. Sometimes that whole day might go in burden if I'm, just so caught up, because it's been so extremely busy this last 6 months at work for me. I think for all of you, I'm sure. Um, so I completely detach myself and sit with myself, and in the night will write a journal. Tomorrow, how are you going to be, Meghna? Why didn't you enjoy work? Why were you so stressed? Why did you find it burdensome? Indeed, because I didn't pay a lot of attention here. The work pressure consumed me and I neglected this, and I was just focused here. So again and again, I have to remind myself to focus on the self, because these two then become automatic. And this is the one we neglect the most. We feel, oh, when I do everything for my relationships, then I can be happy. Oh, I'll do everything at work, then I will be happy. And this is what brings me to this next thing here that I wanted to just talk about. And let me just go in the presentation mode. But before I do that, any questions or thoughts about this prioritization order? Anyone who might have done some self-reflection, any thoughts or any questions? All good? Make sure that everybody is able to talk, because some of you joined a little bit later. Okay, cool. So, in trying to prioritize the self, right? Prioritizing the self is nothing but the inner being, the inner stage. How am I feeling, right? So typically what we feel is that once I finish everything for my family, and just a minute, sorry. Typically what we feel is that once we are not the right order we are taught at Brahmakumaris says it has to be the being, the first priority. Then, once your being is strong, then do things for your family or for your, anything, your home, housework or office work or related to family work, right? Extended family work, friends work, whatever that might be. And then you will automatically become either successful or more happy. But typically, we don't focus on this at all. We are constantly stressed, anxious, and restless. We can't wait for the work to be done. So with a lot of stress, anxiousness, restlessness, fear, whatever that emotion might be, frustration may be, we start the work. Think, oh my gosh, I have to get this done. There's very little time. There's so much to be done. I don't even like doing this. I don't know why I have to do so much cleaning or cooking, or why so much office work. I don't even like it. I just want to be sitting at home doing nothing. I do it with all the stress. And then I'm hoping after doing all of that, I will actually become finally peaceful. But guess what? You started with this really, really stressed, anxious state, and the quality of your work is not going to be great. If I am stressed and anxious, can I really have beautiful, kind interactions with others? It's going to be very difficult. Yes, we've all become this politically right, sophisticated beings. So we will, inside, will be feeling restlessness and madness, but we'll start talking politely. But our inner being, is it enjoying that interaction? It's very hard when you're stressed, anxious, or frustrated. Automatically, it has a huge impact on the way you are doing things. The quality of work, can it be great when I am feeling all of this? At work, suppose I have a great project on which I have to come up with some really innovative way of doing it. It's really something brand new that nobody has done. So I have to think out of the box, from scratch, something new. And I am all of this. Oh my gosh, how I'm going to work on this project. This has never been done before. And now it's a huge challenge. My whole career depends on this. I'm thinking like this. Will the new great idea come to me? The quality of the work automatically reduces when this is not strong. So if I am thinking, oh, I am the one who prioritizes my family, I do anything for my family, I think majority of us will say that relationship matter the most to me. They will not matter if you are here all stressed and angry. No matter how much you care, that emotion will get downloaded on the family. Those interactions will become heavy. And then what do I become? After those heavy interactions, poor quality of work, my confidence shakes. Your ego might say, oh, they deserved it. They've been testing my patience. I had to give them my anger. Your ego can say whatever you want. But the bottom line is the subconscious, there is a very subtle registration of, Meghna, you did such a poor job. You hurt someone's feelings. Your quality of output at work was so bad. It was so bare minimum. And then, if I have become someone who is not proud of the self, what will happen to this being? This being becomes even more weaker next time. So this weaker being will feel even more stress. Remember, if we decrease the denominator, meaning we decrease our strength, our confidence, what will happen? Next work, I will feel even more stress. So the stress inside will only cause poor quality and will cause my confidence to shake, meaning my stress will increase. So this is such a vicious cycle, and we need to break out of it. We really need to break out of it. So if I want to really prioritize myself and really proactively prioritize myself, every day pick a thought, pick a powerful thought. There are filled, if you search for Brahmakumari's thought of today, every day there is a powerful thought that is shared in multiple blogs. If you like that thought, pick that. Otherwise, there's a database of positive thoughts. Pick one thought every day, and I would recommend putting alarms on our phones or whatever other ways. For me, like for example, before drinking water, I have to practice this thought and feel it in my heart, not just like a mantra, I'm a peaceful, loveful being, and then drink. No, literally with smile on my face, I give it at least few seconds to feel it, to absorb it. For example, when there was a lot of stress going on, I practiced this thought, I'm a careless emperor who can manage her entire kingdom. Meaning my kingdom of my body, my work, my relationship, I am an emperor. I can do it. I have the guts. I have the authority. I have the power. So literally whole day I was practicing that. I mean, you can be as creative, create your own, the thing that you're lacking, right? Like suppose patience is the one that you don't have. bring it in your vision. And every few hours, I am a patient being that does this for people. Like literally fill in the blanks. Early in the morning, sit with your mind and say, I'm the most patient being, mind. Now with this person, how is the patience going to show up? How is it going to emerge from me? So literally sit and plan how that patience will look like when you are with a person who generally makes you impatient. Or imagine a work that generally gets you very impatient. And then in that morning meditation, visualize your patient self doing that work. Visualize your patient self literally having interaction with this person. And then throughout the day, this thought was created early in the morning that I'm going to execute on it in my meditation. Throughout the day, I pour water to it. What does pouring water to that seed mean? Reminder, attention. Hey, today we have decided to be the most beautiful patient being by doing XYZ. Now this water I'm pouring on a patient seed, what will come out of it? If I sow the seeds of sweet bananas start coming out, right? Thought is a seed. If my being, I'm putting the seed of patience, my every action will automatically get filled with it. And then how do I feel about myself when I am extremely patient with the most difficult person? And my patience caused this person to change their attitude and behavior. How proud, pure pride would I feel in the becoming level? And then my confidence, unshakable confidence that indeed I am a patient being, increases because I've practiced it, I've become. Now I've increased my denominator. So when I increase my denominator, then if I increase my denominator, then automatically stress level reduces, right? So I want to take a pause. Any thoughts or question on this? All makes sense? Okay. All right, we have a very quiet audience. So we started talking last week about a child throwing a tantrum and then we getting late for a meeting. What are our options? So indeed, we do need to prioritize here the child, and especially if the child is young, right? And it could also be that quickly you manage to somehow send an email to your manager or whoever that might be. And if you were not able to, I think people do understand in these kind of situations. So literally prioritizing here would really mean prioritizing our child and then getting back to work, right? Whenever we've settled the child down. Because if we feel that, oh my gosh, this critical meeting I have to attend and blah, blah, and somehow we tell somebody else to take care of this crying child, and this child, sometimes children do want one particular parent, right, at that moment, and they've selected. And we forcefully walk out that, oh my gosh, so what? There is some adult and I need to be here in this meeting. But our mind is very disturbed. And like we talked about, the difference between matter and a human being is matter just absorbs energy and radiates it, versus human being, they create energy. And if they are creating a lot of negative energy, it's first of all affecting them, and they're creating that negative energy especially because of me, because I was not able to be there for them. That means that negative energy is coming towards me, right? They're not purposefully meanly trying to, but it is. And so no matter how much I try to focus at work, it will not happen. So at that moment, at least my take is that it might be good to prioritize the child. And like some of you said, beautiful thoughts, like, it would spoil the environment of the house also. The aura of the house gets exposed. It becomes unprotected. And then we started talking about what if it was not a work related, but you were literally cooking food for your family, right? And then one of you said very beautifully that in that stressful mode, if you cook, that food is going to now absorb all your stress and anger, right? So matter absorbs. So if I'm cooking with a negative energy, matter absorbs, and whoever eats that food, they are absorbing that negative energy from the food. Anybody who's practicing meditation, you can read whether it is Buddhist or any other kind of meditation. Everyone takes a lot of care on the kind of food they are eating, who is preparing the food, what energy did they put in the food. Each one is paid attention to. So we kind of concluded that we need to prioritize our relationship over work, because relationships are souls that are creating energy. And if they are creating a negative energy, especially because of me, I need to take care, see what I can do. Obviously, there are situations where it might be unnecessary attention, but I still need to address it in one way or another, and then go back to work. And then I think second example, I believe we didn't start, so let's go over that. Okay, I think we did this, sorry. Okay, I think we just started talking and we didn't really go through this. So let's quickly cover. If you can share your thoughts, right? Here, child is getting a B or C grade in a subject consistently. Now, what do we do here exactly? How do we prioritize? You know, the work here really is to get the child back to a better grade, right? That's the work. And the child is getting B or C, might actually be sad or might not even care. You could have two options, right? They got a B or C, they don't seem to care, or they got a B or C and they're very depressed. Now, what are my options? How do I manage my emotions, relationship, and the work of changing their grades?
Sister Meghna, this is Shraddha Kulkarni.
Okay, yes, please.
As a parent, I would kind of like, first of all, give a comforting thought or support my child rather than being upset, because I would dig a little bit deeper, try to have a heart to heart talk with my child and see what was the situation. Did my child didn't understand the concepts, or they were simply scared of the tests, or they are struggling in the classroom, if they would like to talk with the teacher. So I would try to comfort my child and tell them that we are a team and we can work together and see how we can try to get better grades, rather than creating more stress. That would be my approach.
Wonderful. Absolutely right approach. I don't want to add anything to that. I will make it little difficult for you if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Suppose the child doesn't seem to care at all. You know, they got a B or C. So what? I tried my best.
Correct.
Doesn't seem to care at all.
Sure. I feel, grades are like the indicator whether the child has, partly they are the indicator whether the child could
Absolutely.
reproduce what they understood, right? So
Right.
what I will try to give more importance to if the child has understood the concepts.
Right.
I mean, if there are certain areas where the child is lacking, I will try to see if he or she has understood the concept. Then honestly, I will.
वहीं जा रहे हैं.
I think if you're not talking, can you please mute yourself? Shraddha, please go ahead.
Yeah, so of course I will tell the child that it's not a matter of comparison, but it just gives your teacher an indication that you have understood that concept. That's why you should try to take it seriously, by showing through your grades that you can kind of display your understanding.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing it so clearly.
Sure.
I think one other factor here which matters is there could be some children, that they don't seem to care at all about the studies or about the grade, and maybe they get the concept, but they don't realize the importance of education and the grades. And sometimes it irritates the parent that they don't care at all. That is the time when, either their grades, maybe there are some nowadays actually, if you know Monta Vista, or if you're associated with Monta Vista or tough schools like that, teachers are quite difficult to understand at times, and the tests and everything are very competitive. So you might also see literally a crying child, putting their all the energy, effort and everything, and they're literally crying. So many times, at least here, I will notice parents literally getting mad and sad and everything along with the child, and literally butchering the teachers, talking about them openly and things like that. So I think, like you said, most important is to protect our emotions.
Mhm.
Like you said, the children will go through a lot of these storms outside as they're becoming an adult.
Mhm.
First thing we need to do is maintain stability. Second thing is maintain faith that no matter what current state is
Yeah.
of the child, they can get better. Like you said, with our support, we are a team.
Yeah.
Right. And then once you've taken care of yourself, your relationship, that you maintain hope and faith,
Mhm.
that you're not fighting and competing ego. See, I told you, and I am doing so much, and you don't even care of education. There, you've spoiled yours. Your priority is gone. Priority of the relationship is gone. And now I'm busy trying to do the work of fixing the grades.
Yeah.
So it's such a temporary bandage when I don't take care of myself and the relationship, the respect in that relationship. I can never fix the grades. It will be such a bandaged fix. Once they're out of sight, they will do whatever they want. So really, again, it comes down to their state, whether, that grades is because literally because they didn't work hard enough, or that grade is because they did work hard but still ended up with a poor state. Whatever that is, my first priority, keep my emotions calm and stable. I am the mature one, I am the elder, I am the one who's supposed to support them. Many times parents start expecting support from their kids. How much are we doing for you? Can't you even study and get this kind of grades? How much money are we putting for you? And this is what you do. This is called the parent wanting the child to understand them. It is pretty sad. No, it's the other way around. Till they are really, adults, nowadays, even teenagers, you can't expect them to understand you. They're going through so many things. So, whenever I'm thinking my child should understand me, there itself, I've broken the prioritization order completely. So, I have to remind myself again as a parent, first responsibility is for me to understand them and keep giving them. And then I can really then help them with their grades, right? Otherwise, there will be um, lot of stress. We will feel that, oh my gosh, my child is not getting this good grades. What will happen to them? And some people go very far with it. Oh my gosh, they will never get into a good college. They might never have a good job. Oh my gosh, they might end up with staying with me all the time, but I will not be around all the time. What will happen to them? They go to this extent. I have a friend or two who go to this extent. One B or C in a class, they go all the way till there. What will happen to them after we pass away? So literally, no, keep yourself strong. Kids have to go through everything. I need to maintain my emotional stability, pour water into the kids' emotional stability, help them also stay stable. That help is nothing but maintaining faith and giving them that helping hand of hope and courage, right? Like you said so beautifully that this we are a team.
Mhm.
Yeah, so wonderful. Any questions about this example before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, so I have a question. So if the child doesn't care, and sometimes like in younger age kids, they don't care basically grades so much.
Yeah,
Um, but like how do we basically start teaching them the importance of education? Because when they are young, they are more interested in playing with their
true,
friends and
true.
other activities, right? So
Yeah.
maybe, or what is the right age to uh, start that conversation?
I would really say like middle school, maybe seventh or eighth grade. That was my experience. I mean, I literally was, for me, more emphasis was on at least have, your all-round development, pick a sport, pick in some activity. So really my focus was more on academic. Obviously, you don't want them to be literally failing or being very, very behind. But as long as they were doing reasonably okay, um, my focus was not that at all. Yes, we did spend a little bit of more time on them building their language a little strong, because we know language foundation, any job you need it, right? So we did encourage them to read a lot of books, maybe attend some writing classes, but really literally school grades or all of that, nothing. And I think they need a little bit of that maturity, which I believe for every kid is different, to really have that kind of a conversation. Otherwise, again, it becomes a stress because you're trying to convey to them, but their mind is not ready. That maturity is not there for them to understand. And they keep doing the same thing because they're still being that child that they are, right? And we want to kill their child innocence of wanting to play, be little disorganized, not that completely in the routine. We want to kill all of that and say, no, this is now this time, this is at that time, right? We've made it too structured for them. Um, and yes, we do need it with some of us who are both working parents. I guess we do need a little bit of structure, but still, if we are able to give them that elementary years of little bit of unstructured playfulness, it does come. At least my experience with both the kids is, still we did encourage them to finish their homework first before they start doing their fun. Even during their elementary years, this was something that we kind of gently requested and stayed with them. And luckily both the kids followed that guidance from us. Even myself, I literally had no structure. My parents didn't force me so much about grades, but automatically, that came by seventh or eighth grade. I became a lot more serious, and so did my kids. And wherever we felt they were a little bit relaxed, we would gently keep reminding them that, hey, now grades start mattering a lot. Just a little bit of hard work this last few years, and rest of the life you have a more financial security. So, but I think, yeah, that's much later conversation.
I just wanted to also just say one thing about that is that you definitely want your kid to love learning at first when they're younger. And then when they have the maturity and all we have that talk and stuff about grades, that's when that all kicks in. But in the beginning, the goal is to make learning fun and just ask them about their homework and say, oh, what are you doing right now? And that looks so interesting. What is it about? Oh, are you writing it down now? Like just kind of like push them forward like that. And then when, like, I think like what you're saying around seventh grade, middle schoolish is definitely when the academics start kicking in, where grades matter more.
I have a slightly allied perspective to that. One of the things that I've tried with my kid in the elementary school was that if he showed lack of interest in a particular subject, and if he got a B or something, would first look at the pattern, whether he was performing like that from the beginning in that subject that way, or it just happened because of certain subject material, or because of some incident or some experience with something. And then what I do is I ask my son to explain to me the subject material, and I behave as though I didn't understand initially at the first round. And so then my son comes around and then reads the material again and then tries to explain the stuff to me. What I have found is by that my son gets inspiration that, oh, I can teach my dad a few tricks. And so he starts taking interest in that particular subject. Now, the other tack that I followed was that if supposing, for example, he's too tired of doing some particular thing and he just wants a break, I tell him, okay, go ahead and have a break. But remember, this thing would still, this homework or this assignment or this subject matter is not going to go away. So you will have to get back to it at some stage or the other, either today or tomorrow or during the week, depending on when the submission is due. That's when he realizes that, okay, it's not something that he can avoid. He can evade for some time, but not avoid it completely. And then when he's ready for it, then he comes and says, Dad, I need your help for this particular thing. Can you help me? And then I drop whatever I'm doing and help him, because now he has made that effort to actually ask me for my help. So I need to make that effort to fulfill my promise to him.
Yeah, no, that could be one approach. I still feel at elementary school, letting them be a little bit more relaxed and not super involved in their academics, I feel is the right approach. Because if we get super involved, we are going to put that unknowingly little bit of pressure. Maybe some of you are able to execute it very delicately, but if you are super involved in everything the child is doing, why are they interested, why they are not interested, it is such an early stage to make any kind of
Well,
conclusion.
unfortunately, the situation is that the things like scholarships and things like your advanced subjects and all is decided at the elementary school level itself. And what happens is the selection of electives in the middle school, in the 7th and 8th grade, for example, is based on what they do in the
Yeah,
elementary
so
school.
I would
And
really say here, Vivek, yes, that's your perspective, but really that is literally putting pressure on the child to excel, right? So that could be one approach. I
No,
feel,
I'm not. I'm not talking of putting pressure. I don't put pressure on the child, because if I put pressure, then the child would lose interest in learning itself. What I encourage the child to do is that to develop the interest on their own. And if and I don't bother about the grades. The grades can always come later on. There are always stages in life where grades can be pulled up. That's not a problem. The important thing for me is that the child is enjoying what he is doing, and number two, the child is able to retain some of the subject matter. That's all that matters to me. Ultimately, grades go up, grades go down, bit depending on circumstances. We can't run our life around grades itself.
well, when
So
you are talking about competitive and everything, then grades will automatically start mattering, right? When you're
yeah,
thinking seventh
but
grade, this needs
competitive.
to.
Yeah, but
So
you also have to compete with yourself, right? It's not competing with others
So
alone.
again, I think this is complete different stand. One is to be super involved and put this high goal in the child's mind to that you can get there without being a little bit more involved and serious. You can't get that goal. That's one approach. Second approach is to live the young age to be a little bit more playful and unstructured and let the child develop their own interest from middle school onwards. They don't need to be in the top math class in the 7th or 8th grade itself. Yes, they will not be. That's again everybody's opinion, right? So I think here we are talking more about being relaxed and stress free for the child and for the parent. Again, if some of you feel you can be super involved and still be very light and let the child also remain light and playful, then yes, whatever approach works for you, right? That is the best option. I think we are discussing various different options, and that's about it's up to really up to us. I feel whenever you have this high goal for the kids, that middle school onwards itself, you should be in the advanced level of math or advanced level of whatever, then unknowingly that pressure automatically you will get super involved. You will encourage the child to be super involved because you are involved. But if some of you have the art and the time to literally remain light and let the child also be light, because in this, it's not just them taking the interest, they have to start excelling in order to gain that scholarship or whatever, right? So again, some kids, maybe they actually have it, They are maybe more close to a genius. So yes, as a parent, if I can encourage, be little involved and get them there, yes. But then there are many kids who don't want to be that genius in that young age, even though they might be, right? And I have seen quite a few parents who will let that child be that. They will get them involved in other intellectual activities like the robotics or something if they enjoy, to express their geniusness elsewhere. They're not yet ready to be in this competitive state of going higher, right? So again, I think what is the best you feel and how involved you can get. The whole idea is to not let, first of all, you feel that pressure that, oh my gosh, this competitive, my child is not going to the most competitive level. End of the day, we all know it's the attitude of the child towards life that matters the most. Many times when we focus on the grades, the work, I have seen at least many kids lose interest in life because the whole childhood was a burdensome thing of saving grades and getting into the best colleges. They lose interest by the time they come at work. It's like, oh my gosh, whole life I've toiled. Now I just want to take it easy. Or that toil continues, that competitiveness that I have to be one. They seem to never enjoy life. So, yes, they got at the highest competition, highest everything, but what did they lose out on? So again, there could be good ways to do it. My upbringing and my kids upbringing, and I've seen many people who've gone through this competitive or a little bit more involved parenting at a very early age. I see them not have any interest in life. They are done with it. They're so tired of trying and working hard and having such a structured constant push that now they want to take it easy, and they're constantly complaining how life is too difficult.
Yeah, that is
So
burnout. That is they get burned out very fast.
yes, let's move on to the next example. um, Maybe we can go through it. This is the last one, at least for today. Suppose I as a parent is feeling very very exhausted, could be physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, and I'm somewhat sick, and I have a teenager who's demanding, driving us somewhere. How do I handle that situation?
I usually have a network of friends, basically. So we have formed a group where I just fire out a message. Hopefully, it's not too last minute, but I try to send out a message requesting for help, and then I
Suppose you
request.
don't have that help. Let's not go there. You don't have help. You're the only option. What do you do?
Uh, well, it depends. I mean, feeling exhausted, feeling you probably, yeah, you have to deal with it without getting stressed and irritated while driving, especially. Sick, it all depends on how sick I am, right? So if I don't have help and if I'm sick, then unfortunately, they will have to miss out on that particular session.
Okay, so you would prioritize yourself here and let the teenager know that you're just not in the good shape to drive them, right?
Exactly. I mean, if I'm really sick, I will not even take the risk of driving them for
True.
sure. Yeah.
Suppose you were in a condition you could drive, but you were just tired a little bit. What would you do here? I'm just trying to go through different situations so that these kind of things come in our day-to-day lives and we need to pick and make decisions, right? So it's good to think about what are my options? Am I prioritizing? Because later we either repent or we feel frustration or anger. So it's good to bring these situations in our meditation and think, what did I prioritize? What did I miss out? I should not do this again next time, right? So really meditation is a practical way, sitting literally practically with your mind and saying, hey, this will happen. What are you going to do, buddy? How are you going to think? How are you going to feel? What decision are you going to make? This is what we are trying to do in this class. These are real life situations. Now I am tired. I just finished everything and I thought I'll get a nap and feel better. And here is my child demanding. He wants to go. Everybody's going and nobody else can give him a drive and I want to go. What do you do?
I think I might try to negotiate with my child and first of all let them know what's going on with me, because that's also good for them to know, like, take care of me. I'm their mom and they should be taking care of me too. So if I explain, like, I'm feeling, explain all the situation, and then let my kid come up with a nice negotiation, something like, well, mom, what if you took me to this thing, but when I come back, I'll make sure I'll like clean the whole kitchen for you. I'd be so thrilled. Like, so maybe these are life skills, right? So it'd be good for maybe for my kid to like come up with a solution after hearing what my issue is, and then they're also empathizing with me as well.
True. Good, good. Absolutely. Wonderful. Let's just keep making this example a little bit more complicated, right? While we go through it.
Yeah.
Suppose the child is not even giving you any other option. You're trying to tell them, really, I don't feel like it. I'm just so tired. I had a rough night. I can't drive you. And the child is like, come on. It won't take you more than 10 minutes. Can't you just drive and drop me? I'm going to miss out on all the fun. This is all they have to offer. What do you do?
Well, I would definitely empathize with them and say, I'm so sorry. I know I want you to go. I think it would be so fun for you too, but I'm so tired. I need to take my nap right now, and maybe you can go a little late. Like, give me like 20 minutes to take a power nap, something like that. But I would choose myself over taking my child, because I got to take care of myself first. If I get more sick or my headache gets worse or whatever, then I'm not going to be able to do anything the rest of the day.
Wonderful. Any other ideas here? Any other options you would all take?
Maybe I'll just do some meditation and then take care of myself first and then drive a child. Maybe, I don't know.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any other? So many creative
Yeah,
ideas.
ask the kid why is it important to go for him or her to go there, and ask them which is the priority, mom's health over whatever they are asking, and they can decide by themselves.
Yeah, yeah, for a teenager to, at that particular moment when they're having a lot of excitement of going, restless of going, if I say what is more priority, this is going to be really a hard battle, which we are going to get into an emotional fight because you are expecting them to prioritize you, right? Obviously, you want to hear that answer. So it's a very dangerous question. I would avoid with a teenager, especially when they are in rush of going. Maybe when that rush finished and everything, and you're having a calm conversation, maybe then at a fun way. But otherwise, I think it would be inviting a lot of trouble. But literally, I think here the point is not just that I need to take care of myself. I also need to educate my family that there are times when I need that me time. It's not urgent, it's not super critical. I really need that me time, and everybody in that family needs to understand that. That obviously, where there is, crisis going on or something urgent going on, or the child is really in emotional pain or sadness or whatever, yes, I will pull myself and I will give them that time. But at this time, it's not only just prioritizing me, but also letting the family know that everybody should prioritize themselves. And you're creating this honor for yourself that nobody should take you for granted. We many times, one big complaint is the family takes me for granted. They take advantage of me. Well, this is the time to tell them that there are times when I just need that extra rest. And sorry, we can't do it. Yes, you want to go, but I really need to take my rest. This doesn't look like urgent thing. I would have to excuse myself. Or like one of you said very kindly, maybe 20 minutes of power nap and do it. But I feel sometimes, especially if they've reached that teenager stage, it's important for them to understand that they need to adjust too, right? If we don't this is actually, in a way, we are also teaching them that you don't need to be walked over all over. Sometimes you should say no. This is a very subtle way of teaching things. And yes, that teenager at that moment might become not so happy or whatever, but when you have that silent good moment, talk to them about it. I was really surprised that you would not understand that I was tired and I couldn't do it. I've always driven you. I was a little surprised. What happened? And the teenager might open up, oh, it was just such a fun thing and I really wanted to go. and might even say sorry, that sorry, I didn't understand that you needed rest, right? So yes, sometimes in certain situation when the child is in a better state, the situation is not like, this could be also a young kid just demanding, I want a one particular kind of food. Even to that young child you can say, hey, I can't make that right now because I'm tired, but I can give you this. If the child is throwing tantrum, you can literally say, hey child, why don't you come and sit with me, or hug me and we can take a nap, have this. But I am not going. This is again literally where the kids are literally manipulating. So we need to obviously understand that, is it just a tantrum, or is it just a useless reason, or is it something that really needs my attention? So this is very kind of subjective for sure, but we are trying to add colors to it by saying what that situation might be. Didn't realize we are pretty much end of the time. Any last minute thought or question?
See, one of the things is that with kids, when they're growing up itself, if they know what their limits are or what the boundaries are, they, as teenagers, they might try to stretch the envelope a little bit. But then when they realize that, okay, my dad or mom is really ill and they can see for it, then they back down and then they realize that no, they shouldn't be putting pressure on their parents. At the same time, if you reward the teen or the kid for good behavior, then what happens is the child realizes that, look, if I try to press the issue further, then I might not get anything from my parents. But if I'm a little bit flexible, my parents will be much more appreciative of me, and then later on, if I need something which is important, they will get it for me. Delayed gratification, as they call it. Once the kids learn these things, then it becomes a value system in their lives.
So I would really like to add here, this is again, I think every tactic is good to experiment. My personal feedback is teaching the kids such a business-like deal that there is plus, there is minus. Okay, that could be one way of
No, I
doing
think I
it.
think you're misunderstanding. I think you're misunderstanding completely what I'm saying.
So let's discuss this in the
Yeah.
upcoming
No, because
session.
you're taken a wrong meaning of this is not a business deal kind of thing. It is, what happens is, see, my situation is this. My wife is in San Jose.
So
I live in a different county. My son lives there with me. So there is our dynamics of the situation is slightly different. I can't rely on somebody else to help out if I'm tired or something like that. So there are ways by which I've learned to navigate with my son, and my
got
son
it.
also cooperates with that. So
Sounds
that's
good.
the thing is, the question is, the thing is, you have to build them as friends and allies from the beginning, and you have to interact with them at a level where which they will understand the feelings, and then children are
So
very mature.
Yes, so Vivek, thank you for sharing, but we are all out of time. Let's continue this discussion next week. I would certainly like to add more points on this approach, and we can have maybe a more discussion next week since we are all out of time. And let's end it with a meditation. Thank you, everyone. I am a mature, patient, and calm being. At every moment of life, I make a gentle, solemn promise to myself that I will prioritize my well being over everything. When I am full of peace, love, and happiness, my eyes shine with love for others. My lips smile in appreciation of others, and my hands cooperate in every work. So when I prioritize myself, everything else automatically gets prioritized. I am a being of wisdom, peace, love, and joy. Thank you everyone for joining me today, and let's continue this discussion. That Vivek brought up an interesting point. We will start our discussion next week. With that, I'll see you all next week. Thank you all for joining me today.
One quick question. So will we have access to the slide or like recording of this?
Oh, yes,
session?
recording. I will update the recording. Yes, we generally don't share slides and everything, but
Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
recording.
recording, if you can share, we can see the
Absolutely.
slides, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I will
Thank you
share
very
the
much.
recording. Yeah. Have a good
Thank you,
day,
sister.
everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Meghna.
Thanks, everyone.
Om Shanti, sister.
Shanti.